Stories that define the day from every corner of the planet. I'm Arjun Samir Mahindran, and this is the Thursday edition of the World Report. Tensions in the Middle East are escalating as several US media reports suggest that the US military is in fact ready to strike Iran as early as this weekend. That's right. However, President Donald Trump has not yet made a final decision on whether to authorize military action or not. However, reports indicate that Trump remains undecided, privately weighing arguments for both and against the strike, while also consulting advisors and key allies. Now, it remains still unclear on this Thursday whether a final call will be made in the coming days. Meanwhile, reports say that the US forces could very well be operationally prepared by the weekend, following a significant buildup of American air and naval assets both across the Middle East. The US's Gerald R. Ford, the most advanced carrier group in the US arsenal, could arrive in the region as soon as this week.
There's many reasons and arguments that one could make for a strike against Iran. The president had a very successful operation as commander-in-chief with Operation Midnight Hammer, as you know, as you just said, totally obliterated Iran's nuclear facilities. The president has always been very clear, though, with respect to Iran or any country around the world, diplomacy is always his first option, and Iran would be very wise to make a deal with President Trump.
NDTV's associate news editor Vishal Vivek joins us for the latest on this story. Vishal, unprecedented escalation there, especially given the second round of the talks. So to say, there was some initial understanding that was reached. What's the latest you're picking up? And reports are indicating that an attack might be likely as soon as this weekend. What's the latest you can tell us?
That's exactly right, Arjun, and we've been reporting on this ever since this first broke earlier this morning. Almost everyone in the US media is talking about this, that there could be an attack towards the end of this week. Whether it's Sunday or Saturday, that remains to be seen. But a lot of times we've seen that when these big announcements are made, that don't really materialize, or that don't really happen, because Trump has this policy of shock and awe. He waits and delivers. So we'll have to see what really happens, because Trump has been known to make a U-turn and not really deliver on whatever has been reported. So we'll have to wait on that. But as far as the preparations pertaining to the US regime is concerned, they are fully prepared. We have at least 50 fighter jets circling the region in the last 24 hours itself. And the biggest warship that US has in its arsenal, it's already en route to the region, and it could be there, as you rightly mentioned, in the space of in a matter of 2 or 3 days. So the US side is totally prepared. We saw from the Iranian side that they were also fully prepared in terms of their missiles. They've shown their strength in the Strait of Hormuz test that they conducted a few days ago. So this has become a very a time of caution for both the sides. But
Absolutely.
Who will pull the trigger for the first time, that remains to be seen.
Well, you beautifully summed it up, Vishal. Who will pull the trigger for the first time? That will be seen. Unprecedented US congregation there in the Gulf. Meanwhile, threats also coming in straight from Tehran, and in fact straight from Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Meanwhile, we keep our focus on the Middle East, where Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar is calling into question the UN's relevance, saying he's in support of President Donald Trump's plan for a ceasefire in Gaza. Now, speaking ahead of a high-level meeting in the Gaza ceasefire deal and Israel's efforts to, in fact, expand control in the West Bank at the UN, Gideon Saar told reporters in New York on Wednesday that the global organization has become, in his words, irrelevant for solving conflicts in the world. Now, world leaders are heading to Washington to discuss the future of the Palestinian territories at the first gathering of President Donald Trump's Board of Peace later today. Saar said he's got the honor of representing Israel at this summit. Listen in.
If these are achieved, there will, for the first time, be a chance to move forward a new reality in Gaza and the region. The security, stability, and prosperity of all depend on it. Everyone in this building should ask themselves, why is everyone treating tomorrow's summit as far more important than the meeting here in 15 minutes? What does it say about the UN's standing today? Why has the UN become irrelevant for solving conflicts in the world?
We shift our focus for India, where there's been a massive boost for the country's air superiority. That's right. Now, just days before President Emmanuel Macron arrived in Delhi, the Defence Acquisition Council greenlit a historic 3.25 lakh crore deal for 114 Rafale jets. This report tells you more.
Just days ahead of French President Emmanuel Macron's visit to New Delhi, India's Defence Acquisition Council cleared a mega 3.25 lakh crore rupees defence deal with France. India is all set to buy 114 Rafale fighter jets from France under a third intergovernmental deal in just 10 years. It was in 2016 when India first announced that it would procure 36 Rafale jets from France at a cost of 59,000 crore rupees. In 2025, India announced its second 63,000 crore Rafale deal, this time opting for the marine variant to boost its fleet for aircraft carriers INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya. The 2026 deal, the third in the series, is the biggest of them all, with nearly 3 times the fleet order than the original 2016 deal, set to bolster India's defence in the skies. India's Rafale fleet comes with a complement of some formidable weaponry, equipped with state-of-the-art Meteor long-range missile ranging up to 120 kilometers, the Scalp long-range cruise missile ranging up to 250 kilometers, and the Hammer standoff strike weapons. All of them reportedly wreaked havoc within Pakistan's airspace during Operation Sindoor when the Rafales were deployed. The Rafale plugs in an important strategic game in India's air safety net as a 4.5 generation jet. The IAF presently operates 2 squadrons of Rafale, Squadron 1 from Ambala in Haryana and Squadron 2 from Hasimara in West Bengal. While India's air fleet is presently operating at a deficit of just 29 to 31 against the sanctioned strength of 42, the 114 Rafale jets will play a vital role in India's strategic landscape, while India races towards manufacturing its own 5th generation fighter jet, AMCA, expected to hit production by 2027 and delivered in mid-2030. The new Rafale deal will empower the Make in India dream, with over 90 jets expected to be manufactured in India under the agreement. The cooperation is not just in the skies. India and France are also expected to renew defence cooperation agreements for another 10 years, further strengthening the bilateral strategic relationship. Bureau Report, NDTV.
We shift our focus to Peru, whose Congress has picked Representative Jose Maria Balcazar from the Nation Now party as the new interim president. Now, this comes as it scrambles to steady the country after ousting Jose Geri. Now, on Wednesday night, lawmakers voted among 4 little-known members of the Congress. Balcazar will lead the Andean country until the 28th of July, when power passes to the winner of an election to be scheduled in April this year. The revolving door presidency in Peru reflects a political crisis fueled by a lack of legislative measures for leaders. Lawmakers, meanwhile, have frequently used a broad interpretation of the Constitution article regarding permanent moral incapacity to remove sitting presidents. Now, on Tuesday, Congress voted to remove Geri after 4 months in office. The removal followed revelations regarding his undisclosed meetings with Chinese business owners, including a state contractor as well. Now, Geri asserted he was merely coordinating a Peruvian-Chinese festival. We get you more.
Consecuencia, ha sido elegido presidente del Congreso de la República el congresista Balcázar.
North Korea staged a display of multiple rocket launchers outside the venue of the landmark Congress of its ruling Workers' Party. And where leader Kim Jong-un took one for a spin. The event took place on Wednesday, the North Korean official Korean Central Agency, or the KCNA, reported early Thursday. Now, it's common for North Korean state media to report news a day or even more after it happens. Meanwhile, Kim said that the 9th Congress of the Workers' Party will make clear the next stage plan and goal for strengthening the self-reliant defense capabilities in a speech at the rocket launcher event. Still images, as you see there on your screen, from KCNA show Kim standing by one of the rocket launcher's vehicles, which is then shown driving round a track with Kim at its very wheel. US President Donald Trump hosted a White House reception for Black History Month on Wednesday, less than 2 weeks after he sparked a bipartisan outcry posting a racist video on social media that depicted former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle Obama as primates in a jungle. That's correct. Now, Trump on Wednesday did not reference the video, which he deleted after a widespread backlash, which said he will not apologize for posting. He also did not reference Barack Obama, the nation's first black president, but spoke of other history-making black Americans. Here's what Trump said.
It's a nice full room. You know, we have a ballroom being built right now. So in about a year and a half, we'll be able to have about, I'd say, 10 times the number. We can invite some friends that couldn't make it today because, frankly, this was a sold-out crowd. Has been ever since I've been president. Every year it's been sold out.
Now, Tatiana Kimion, a 47-year-old mother of two, was working as a ballroom dance instructor in Slovance. Now, it's in the Donetsk region of Ukraine when Russia launched its full-scale war against Ukraine. However, the invasion forced her to abandon her career in dance, and well, she later joined the Ukrainian armed forces. Now, there she chose to train as a sniper, saying that she wanted to be directly involved in combat and saw the role as one that also required a certain degree of creativity. We get you what Tatiana says about this move.
Мої будні були дуже насиченими. Ми їздили на змагання за кордон, представляли Україну на міжнародних змаганнях. Тренування кожен тиждень ми їздили в якесь нове місто, познавали Європу, Китай. Тобто було дуже насичено, але, як кажуть, дійсно рутинно, як нам тоді здавалося. Але зараз ми за цією рутиною дуже сумуємо.
A week-long snow drought in northern California, Sierra Nevada helped set the stage for Tuesday's deadly avalanche after several feet of new snow fell on an earlier layer that had hardened, making it unstable and easily triggered. Now, the new snow did not have time to bond to the earlier layer before the avalanche near the Lake Tahoe killed at least 8 backcountry skiers, said Craig Clemens, a Met professor at the San Jose State University who in fact had conducted avalanche research in the same area. 6 skiers survived and rescuers were still searching for another one who was still missing on Wednesday. The group was on a 3-day backcountry trek in the Sierra Nevada region on Tuesday morning when they were trapped by the avalanche as the winter storm pummeled the west coast. Meanwhile, listen into what Craig had to say.
In California, we have not had any snowfall for the last month plus, okay? And so the snow pack was very firm. And the last couple of days, we had a very large set of large storms that came through and dumped over 3.5 feet of snow in the Tahoe region. And so that snow, new fallen snow, sits on a very firm layer, and it doesn't have the time to bond well. And so it is already unstable.
Welcome back. We got urgent updates and pressing updates rather coming in from South Korea, where ex-President Yoon Suk-yeol has been found guilty of masterminding an insurrection by a court. That's right. The 65-year-old former president has been sentenced to life in prison over his botched attempt in December 2024 at imposing a self-styled military rule that was later overturned by the parliament of South Korea. Now we shift our focus to India, where PM Modi has just officially inaugurated the underway AI India Summit in capital New Delhi. Addressing a packed audience, the PM, among other things, also underlined the sheer transformative power of AI. His address was preceded by France's Emmanuel Macron, Google's Sundar Pichai, and Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei. Listen in.
AI भी एक ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव पावर है. दिशाहीन हुई तो डिसरप्शन, सही दिशा मिली तो सॉल्यूशन. एआई को मशीन सेंट्रिक से ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक कैसे बनाएं, संवेदनशील और उत्तरदायी कैसे बनाएं, यही इस ग्लोबल एआई इम्पैक्ट समिट का मूल उद्देश्य है.
I started with a story about a street vendor in Mumbai. 10 years ago, the world told India that 1.4 billion people could not be brought into the digital economy. India proved them wrong.
Isaac becoming a global AI hub. Just as I couldn't have imagined that one day I'd be spending time with teams figuring out how to put data centers into space. Or taking my parents for a fully autonomous car ride in San Francisco. Seeing a Waymo right through my 83-year-old dad's eyes, I saw the progress in a whole new light. Of course, he said he'd be more impressed if it worked on India's busy roads. Still working on that one, Dad. The progress shows what's possible when humanity dreams big.
On the risks, India is the world's largest democracy and can be a partner and leader in addressing the global security and economic risks of the technology. We'd like to work with India on testing and evaluation of models for safety and security risks in the tradition that was started by many global and national AI security institutes that have been stood up around the world. First, I want to thank Prime Minister Modi for bringing us together. The energy and ambition in this room and across India are incredible. I've been spending the last few days meeting with Indian builders and enterprises, and the energy to build together here is palpable, unlike anywhere else. This is the fourth AI summit we've held since the tradition was initiated at Bletchley Park back in 2023, which I still remember. And in those 2.5 years, the advances in the technology have been absolutely staggering.
We get you more updates from the world of business and technology, where tech titan OpenAI has announced that it is opening 2 new offices in India. That's right, in Maximum City, Mumbai and Bengaluru later in the year. The ChatGPT maker already has its presence in New Delhi with the office that it just opened last year. Now, in a blog spot reacting to the development, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has said India is already leading the way in AI adoption, and with its homegrown tech talent, optimism about what AI can do for the country, and strong government support, it is well placed to help shaping its welfare and how democratic AI is adopted at scale. Through OpenAI for India, we are looking together to build the infrastructure, the skills and local partnerships needed to build AI with India, for India and in India. Legendary rock band U2 is returning with its first collection of new songs in nearly a decade. Opening with a tribute to Renee Good, the Minnesota mom fatally shot by federal ICE agents during the winter's massive immigration crackdown. That's right, the Irish rock band released the 6-song EP, U2 Days of Ash, on Wednesday. Its first track, American Obituary, is dedicated to Renee Good, who died on the 7th of January in Minneapolis during an encounter with an immigration and customs enforcement agent. Now, the band says the EP responds to current events and it's a call for peace. The song, meanwhile, mentions Ukraine, the Middle East, and, of course, US immigration. Mark Zuckerberg and opposing lawyers dueled in an LA courtroom on Wednesday, where the Meta CEO answered questions about young people's use of Instagram, his congressional testimony, and internal advice he's received about being authentic and not robotic. Zuckerberg's testimony is part of an unprecedented social media trial that questions whether Meta's platforms deliberately addict and harm children. That's right. Now, during questioning by the plaintiff's lawyer, Zuckerberg said that he still agrees with the previous statement he made that the existing body of scientific work has not conclusively proven that social media causes mental health harms. Here's more.
Mark Zuckerberg was grilled today about kids' use of Instagram in a landmark social media trial in Los Angeles. He testified in the case, which seeks to ask the question of whether Instagram, Meta, and Google-owned YouTube deliberately designed their platforms to addict and harm children.
We shift our focus to Latin America, where Argentina's only national tire manufacturer has announced its permanent closure on Wednesday, resulting in the dismissal of nearly 1,000 workers, while the Milei government of Libertarian President Milei pushes a labor reform in the Congress. Now, Fate informed its employees that after 8 years of activity, it was forced to close due to changes in market conditions. This is according to a statement it shares with its employees. In the world of entertainment, pop star Kylie Minogue is adding another notch to her icon status with a new Barbie doll in her likeness. That's right, the new Kylie Minogue signature collection, Barbie, as you see there on your TV sets, is donned in an all-red deference to the recording artist's 2023 Padam Padam music video outfit. Minogue, who received her first Barbie in 2024, won a Grammy that year for the Best Pop Dance Recording for the hit song. And well, that's all the updates we have for you this Thursday. Take care and have a wonderful day.